Thank you, God. Another cryptic text comes out after another Raiders loss from Shedeur Sanders. What do you think about it, Raider Nation? Let's talk about it. What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to For Life, our Raider story. This is our take. I'm Spicy Raider Girl here with Scotty Waddy, Raider One. We're coming to you on a special night. We usually do our Spicy Shield talk tonight, but we've taken a little bye week ourselves, both with Monday Night Madness and the Spicy Shield talk. So we're just coming on here with a little special edition to talk about all things draft. Can you believe we're saying that? 2-8. The Raiders started. Nobody could even imagine it would have been this bad. But here we are. What's good, Scotty?
Hey, what is good? I think we're in the process of figuring some things out, making some changes, trying to see what works, plug and play type deals. And yeah, that's where we're at right now at 2-8.
Yeah, unfortunately. Here's some of our hot takes for tonight. Bauer shines again. Mayer returns. Should AP stay? Should we draft a QB? I mean, we all know we need one, but should we draft one? We're going to talk extensively about that. Did the OC change even matter? To me, it looked like a carbon copy of every other week. It did not matter, in my opinion. Who's in and who's out, meaning who's on the trading block? Who can we let go and who can we absolutely not even think about putting up there? And does losing out hurt when it comes to attracting coaches and free agents? Those are some of the things we're going to be talking about tonight. What's up to everybody in the chat? We appreciate you being here. Let's start with welcoming back. It's been a long absence for Michael Mayer. He finally made it back. We're happy to see him. I was happy to see him back on the field. Scotty, what did you think?
No, I think it's great that he gets back out there again. We've talked about this previously on the show. If he says it's a personal reason, everybody's got personal reasons. And so if he needed that time, and if he was, from what I understand, he was welcomed back on the team, and he was supported by the team. I'm glad to see him back. Hopefully, whatever he was going through, hopefully that passed or got better in some type of way. Welcome back.
Yeah. Most definitely. Welcome back. I hope hopefully whatever, like you said, whatever he was going through is in the past. I will say though, I was impressed with his play on the field, considering I'd forgotten actually how long he's been out, but it's been quite some time.
Yeah, it was several weeks, and I think it was during the game that somebody said that he really put in time to working out and trying to stay up to speed. So hey, man, again, everybody goes through things, and hopefully he's fine. And he did look sharp when he came back. He didn't look bad at all.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if you're playing along with us tonight, if you're playing our drinking game with us, the drinking game alert is we're 2-8. Just drink. I don't really know what to say. You know what I'm saying? We're going to need a lot of that Woodson whiskey to get us through the second half of this season here, if we already haven't had enough already. You know what I mean?
It's been that season.
It's been that season. Remember, if you haven't already, light that torch, hit that like button, subscribe, and join to become a member. We also want to shout out, we like to, there's not a lot of positivities in this season, but we like to find the one or two. It seems like this has been the consistent positive shout out on almost all of our shows, Scotty, and that is shouting out our rookie tight end, Brock Bowers. Yeah. Most receptions in a single game by a rookie tight and all time. I mean, look at these numbers here. We were shocked by Telesco's pick with the tight end, but he's proving to be a great talent, a generational talent, and someone who's shines every week, really. And even with a terrible team, imagine what this kid can do if he had a good quarterback and a great team behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you only got to wonder, how much better those numbers could be, actually. Where there was several games except the last where we went to him in the first half of the game a couple of times, and then we forgot that he existed in the second half. So can you imagine what his numbers would actually be if we had something really trying to help him out? I mean, he can only catch the ball and run with it afterwards. He can't do the rest of it before that. So.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody watched the game. The commentators were even saying something to that, Scotty, on how if something's working, the Raiders aren't going to kind of go back to it until it got to the end where they really had no option. He was really kind of their only weapon there, and he still shines. So, shout out to this young man.
Yeah, I think there's some other bright spots on our team. There's some players that are flashing pretty good. JPJ move over to center his second game. He's done really well at the center position. Andre James was just getting bull rushed and killed on every damn rep, it seemed like. So that change has been pretty good. And they brought Meredith. I think Meredith is in at right guard, and he's done pretty well at that position. He hasn't done too much. And then Colton Miller's coming along. Colton Miller in the last, I can't remember.
He kind of fell off for a little bit. That's true.
Yeah. Colton Miller in the last, I think he has like 7 pressures, no sacks. He's been doing his job. It looks like he's coming back up into speed after having not such a great offseason. Well, he was out injured offseason. So there's some bright spots there. You can't even keep up with the offensive line because everybody's getting changed all the time. But it looks like those 3 are pretty solid right there right now, and they're doing a pretty decent job actually.
Well, now we have to switch gears. We were as positive as we can be for 7 minutes. But it is what it is. In the words of our very own, our favorite, my personal favorite, Mad Max, it's been up season.
Yeah, it has been.
I mean, then he went, on his show. I'm sure everybody watches The Rush. He went on to say, basically, it's effed up season. Nobody could have predicted this, and he's just going to keep trying to do his best and show up and show out, and that's all he can do, and that's all he really had to say. But I mean, listen, it is what it is. I mean, you can't hate the man for speaking the truth. It is a fucked up season.
Yeah, it is. It is. It definitely is. Again, that fucked up season, I think, leads us into, the next few points that we have on there as in what are we going to do? I have a few thoughts on what we might do. Everybody is thinking, go get a quarterback.
Well, let's ease into that one. Let's ease into that one, Scotty. Hold that thought. Let me say what's up to the chat. Let me make sure. I'm not sure what the asterisks are about next QB on video title. Yeah, we're just exploring who the next quarterback could be for the Raiders. And like you said, with all the cryptic tweets, I don't think they're so cryptic anymore. I think we've all figured out what thank you God means at this point. But yeah, that's what we're chatting about. So chime in about it. Mother Moon in the building. Raiders. Ain't no doubt. What's up, Aphrodisiac? Travis, thanks for being a supporter of the show. Much love and respect to you as well. Eric, Raiders, haters, Hunter, Erica Channel, salute to you. Thanks for being here. Mother Moon, that's right. You already know what to do. Drink, toke, or twerk. Squid, I gotta disagree with you on this one, man. I gotta disagree with you. I think you have to be at least a good team to try to tank. They aren't even good enough to tank. They just are losing. They are trying to win, I think. They just aren't. So I don't think there's a tank in play. What do you think, Scotty?
No, I don't think they're tanking. I don't think I don't think tanking helps us. Again, this is going to lead into the next thing if you're ready to get into that. But I think we're in a difficult position because yes, we need to get in the top 5 to get a quarterback. However, we also need a coach that's going to want to be here to develop that quarterback. So that being said, I'm not sure that the tank really is on. I don't particularly agree with that. If you might have been joking.
Well, that's thinking like real deep about it. That's thinking real deep. And I see your point because the Raiders need a running back. they need a wide receiver, and they need some help on both sides of the line. So even if they don't get the quarterback, there's a lot of missing pieces here. So I don't think they would necessarily tank to get that one piece. We learned that in the last draft, Telesco's not willing to do that, or he chose not to do that, right? He didn't sell the farm. He went with the best pick. But besides that, I mean, again, that you got to be a decent team to be able to tank. They're trying to win. They just cannot. As you can see right here, that so far, as of right now, the 2025 NFL draft order, the Raiders are sitting at 5. So let's just explore the quarterback position as of right now with this draft order. You look at Jacksonville, right? They don't need a quarterback. Go ahead.
Right. You would think that they wouldn't take one. They just signed Trevor Lawrence to some money or something.
Yeah, they signed Trevor Lawrence 5-year deal at the beginning of this season, $275 million contract. So you would think they wouldn't, but then there's this, we're going to get into this. We're going to see a video from Tom Brady here in a minute. The logic of developing younger talent behind some quarterbacks that are already there. We saw that kind of happen with Atlanta in the draft, right? Where Kirk Cousins went crazy. Yeah. But really, if you think about in prior years, you develop under an established quarterback.
Right.
You don't just jump in there right away, which is the trend these days. But then we also look ahead. So the Titans are next on the list. They obviously drafted Will Levis last year. He's a rookie. I don't think they're going to go after anyone else.
Right.
But then here it comes, right? The Browns and the Giants both are struggling in the quarterback position as well. So they can opt for a quarterback. So really, if the Raiders want a quarterback and that's what they're going to go for, and they have someone in mind, they need to really be at 3.
Yeah, I mean, you would think everybody. I mean, their quarterbacks were drafted in weird positions this last draft too, except Jaden Daniels, of course, and Caleb Williams. I guess that we're expecting him to go first and Jaden Daniels second. But it just depends on what they want, on what fits their style, what their scouts say as to who they'll take. It's a crapshoot. But you're right. In order to secure anything, you would at least today, if it was today, you would at least need to be at 3 to seemingly secure the quarterback that you wanted, if that's the route you wanted to take.
Now, we've all been talking about Shedeur Sanders and will he be a Raider? Again, he's been putting out, after every Raiders loss, he's been tweeting, "Thank you, God." Earlier in the year, he was at an Aces game, chatting it up with Mark Davis. Mark Davis said something along the lines of, "You may already be home." But that happened kind of last year, where we thought, "Hey, our quarterback's on the sidelines."
Yep.
So I don't want to read into much of that, but I mean, it's something to talk about. I'll put it that way.
These things are funny to me. Again, it was well documented that I said trade the farm, get Jaden Daniels, but then everybody wants to say, well, Washington didn't want to trade their pick. I don't particularly believe that. I think everything's for sale. And this is a business, that ultimately we don't look at it that way, but it's a business. I think that when you have the powers that be, as in a top 5 draft pick with a brand new stadium, with Tom Brady being owner, with Deion Sanders being former NFL, with his son being the one, I think somebody's going to work something out. There's going to be some connections that are going to be made. And if something needs or wants to happen, I'm sure they can get it done. I just don't think it's, we can't do this because we're here. No, I think there's a lot that goes, there's a lot of things going on behind closed doors that we don't see.
All right. Well, before we get into the quarterbacks that will be available next season, let's go ahead and take a look at this video here, Ro.
There used to be college programs. Now there are college teams. You're no longer learning a program, you're learning a playbook. And the program is ultimately, like at Michigan, for me, that was a pro-style program. 5 years I got to learn how to drop back pass, to read defenses, to read coverages, to be coached. I had to learn from being 7th quarterback on the depth chart to moving up to 3rd to ultimately being a starter. I had to learn all those things in college. That was development. Then I went to New England and I was developed by Coach Belichick and the offensive staff there. I didn't start my first year. I think it's just a tragedy that we're forcing these rookies to play early. But the reality is the only reason why they are is because we dumbed the game down, which has allowed them to play. It used to be thought of at a higher level. We used to spend hours and hours in the offseason and training camp trying to be a little bit better than next year. But I think what happens is it discourages the coaches from going to deep levels because they realize the players don't have the opportunity to go to a deep level, so they're just going to teach them where they're at.
So I think that those are interesting comments. I think they're very insightful. And with Tom Brady being the new minority owner in the Raiders, and we've heard rumors about he's going to actually have some say about the decisions the Raiders are making. And Scotty, I'll let you run away with this because you touched on this. Do we draft a quarterback?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I would not be surprised if the Raiders did not draft a quarterback. I know that's what we're all thinking they were going to do. I know that's what we want a quarterback, including myself. But I wouldn't be surprised if we went away from drafting a quarterback and went to finding other pieces. The reason why is you have to get somebody to develop a quarterback, and exactly what in that video says, we wouldn't be sitting a rookie quarterback on the bench. He's going to come in and start on the, he's going to be the starter no matter what, especially at this draft position that we're at, assuming we stay relatively there. So there's not going to be any development. So the problem with that is you need the coaching to be able to do the development. And are we gonna really sit here and say, well, AP's the guy to develop a young quarterback? I don't know. I don't know. We don't know that. Nobody really knows that because he's never been in that position. But offensive coordinator, we're just getting started with the Turner family. Are they going to be the ones that can develop a quarterback? We don't know. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't draft a quarterback this season and we keep plugging in some more players and then try to look till next season to plug in a quarterback coming out of the draft.
Now, Scotty, I want to ask you this specifically because you were so adamant about your decision would have been trade up, get the quarterback last season. So I want to ask you this. With that said, because I think you have a great point there, how do you feel about trading down? And instead of looking for that quarterback, trade down and get a couple more pieces. What do you think of that?
I don't know. That may be something. I've never been a big fan of that. I haven't put that much thought into it, but now that you say it, I mean, depends on where we get. Again, if we don't get a quarterback and we trade down for maybe 2 first-round picks, I wouldn't say that that's the worst idea, assuming we don't get a quarterback. But if we're going to try to get a quarterback, we need to stay where we're at as high as possible. To get whoever we think is the appropriate person in there.
Well, let me ask you this, just to take it one step further. If the Raiders stay right around that 5, knowing 3 and 4, the Cleveland Browns and the New York Football Giants need a quarterback, and then you're hovering at 5, and we'll look at the options there are here in a minute. Say we're looking at the 3rd best quarterback in the draft. What kind of move do you make at that point?
I would take a quarterback. I would take a quarterback. I still think that would be the best move. We just don't have somebody at that position, and we do have some playmakers. I mean, think about it. We're not using Trey Tucker. The guy's got burner speed, and he's not going anywhere. He's not taking advantage of it. We have Jacoby Myers. He's the guy's good too. We have Brock Bowers, but he's I would take a quarterback.
I agree, and for several reasons. One, it's so obviously we don't have one. We don't even have a starter. We have a couple backups and a practice squad guy. But I think the main reason to take a quarterback, besides the obvious, is we want to be able to attract talent. We want to be able to sign free agents. I mean, we saw in Devontae Adams, players, whatever your opinion is on Devontae Adams, he couldn't get out of the Raiders fast enough because he didn't want to play with Minshew, And so if we don't have someone that can throw these weapons the ball or even hand them off, geez, I think Minshew bobbled a handoff last weekend. We're not going to attract the running backs and the wide receivers we need to come play with who?
Right.
So I think that's important. Let me go to some of these comments here. Aphrodisiac said, who would this, I think to your point, Scotty, earlier, he's kind of asking who would be the OC to help develop Shedeur?
Again, you have everybody's talking about Slowick, everybody's talking about Johnson. That those are options that you could have. Now those guys are also up for head coaching jobs. So that do they want to do that? And that's the thing about the whole tanking thing is, do they want to come over and take over that type of project, if you will?
Right.
So that's the best we can hope, is that if we win some games, hope everybody else wins some games too, so we stay there. But I mean, that's a long shot. But it's difficult. Like I said, it's difficult right now because you have to. There's a fine line between who's going to want to be here and who can we get here. So it's going to be difficult. If it's going to be difficult, you got to call it.
In 1 second. Hey, we are live. Who is on the line and what you got for us?
Big Daddy. This is Big Daddy. ¿Cómo están? How you guys doing?
Big Daddy, ¿cómo están? Muy bien, ¿y tú?
I'm doing real good. You guys got me fired up talking about our quarterback situation for 2025, and I just wanted to give you guys my 2 cents take.
Please do.
All right. This is how I see things going. Jacksonville and Tennessee is going to play each other twice. We play Jacksonville in December. So a lot of things are going to be shot out if we're going to be in the top 5. I agree with you guys. In my opinion, Danny Dimes is out, so the Giants are going to go after a quarterback. I truly believe Cleveland is going to do like Denver, eat that money with Mr. Massage quarterback in Cleveland. I can't think of his name. They're gonna go for a quarterback. The sneaking team is Tennessee. Do they really like Will Levis? I think he has to play for his job the rest of the way. Now, what do I think is going to happen? I think with us, their whole everything on the table is to get Shedeur Sanders. Okay, whoever, it behooves us that if we're not number one, we need Jacksonville to be number one so we can trade up with them. What do I think it will take if we're like 3, 4, and 5? Probably R1 and probably R3 or both 3s. Would I do it? Probably yes. Now, Shedeur, if we get him, my first choice would be to bring his OC from Colorado, Pat Shermer, who developed him, and a couple other young quarterbacks in the last 15 years. Let him, that's my first choice. Now, do I trust AP and this current coaching staff to help Shedeur? No. So with me, my first choice next year, I'd go this way. Mike Vrabel would be my head coach.
Oh, wow.
Shedeur would be my first OC candidate. If not, I'd probably get Clint Kubiak from the Saints once they clean house. Or, Ben Johnson's not going to come here. He wants to be a head coach. But you guys brought up a good point earlier. You cannot get a Lamborghini and have somebody that's never had a driver's license to drive the car. We got, on the real side, congratulations if we get whoever we get. My backup is Cam Ward. But we have to be smart enough And that's why I think Brady comes in. We got to have the right offensive scheme, the right everything for whoever is back there to succeed. I mean, right now we can't even run the ball. So, we can't get Sanders, Ward, or whoever. Now, one thing Scotty said, or you said, Spice, what happens if we draft 5 or 6 and both them young brothers are gone? Well, as Scotty said, we can maybe get 2 number ones and all that. And now we're taking a chance on, do we want the kid from Alabama, Jalen Milrows, who's like, in my opinion, the bootleg Lamar Jackson, but more inaccurate. The quarterback from LSU that I'm looking at, he's got more Drake May in him, but he hardly has played that much. Okay, so to me, I really trust our GM because Tommy T is going to be here next year. I wouldn't bet more than $20 that AP is going to be here. Ooh. I think AP has to win the Denver game, and he has to be competitive in that last Chargers game, and he's got to beat Jacksonville to sniff a job for next year. Now, I'll say this. I know our owner wants to have continuity after what happened last year with Big Josh McDaniels. So would I bet the house that AP is going to be gone? No.
Right.
But I'll say this. If you got a chance to upgrade and get a guy that was named Coach of the Year and should have been fired, I'm gonna get Mike Vrabel. That's my first choice for 2025. AP, I'll give him credit for this. No experience. He's gotten better with his timeout management. His game management has gotten a little bit better. And it's not his fault that we've had so many injuries in 2024 like I've never seen. And then last but not least, he started the season with 2 backup quarterbacks. Right. And, he was dealt a bad hand. That's why I think he'll have a shot at coming back. But, man, we got a chance to upgrade at coaching. Let's do it. But definitely, we can throw names until I'm blue in the face on OC. It's got to be the right guy that's going to develop somebody. And in that video with the GOAT, he's right. These guys are force-fed to play right now. And we need somebody that's mentally tough. I like what Shedeur did earlier this season. He yelled at one of his players. And, because he ran the wrong route and all that. And then lastly, in my little rant with this, Brady has mentored Shedeur for the last 4 years, okay? And that is huge. So, in my opinion, if we don't get that Colorado quarterback, I'm not saying we're going to have egg on our face, but we better have option B. But we can't go through what we're going through right now. It's been a while since we were out of it. And we were out of it at the beginning of October, the middle of October. Yeah. And I tell you what, this has been, when you're bad when they don't even talk about you on TV anymore. That's how bad we are.
Well, that Monday Night Football game's getting a flex for sure. I'm surprised they haven't announced it already.
Yeah. And you know what, man? This has been tough to watch. When we got Scott Turner as our new OC, that offense was probably the best offense I've seen all season. But we need wide receiver 1. We need a running back. Our corners are all hurt. We need a lot of stuff for 2025. If we trade it down because those heavy hitters are gone and we can pick up more pieces, I trust Tommy T. But, man, we need... I'm not really feeling Danny Dimes, who we can get at a bargain rate, or Sam Darnold. Me personally, I would probably give up my number 1, not my number 1, but my number 2 to go get Hendon Hooker, who's sitting on the bench with golf. He's not going to play anytime soon. He was always my first choice last year. So to me, we got to take care of this quarterback issue and take care of it quick. If not, we're going to be dropping in the top 5 next year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you, Big Daddy. We appreciate all your comments. Thank you. And we're going to respond to that. So have a great night. I hope you keep watching.
So
all right, always will. Take care.
Go ahead, Scotty. Respond.
On what he said, I mean, a lot of great points there.
Yeah.
Let's not forget we have over $100 million in cap space now.
Yeah, I think we're at 128.
Yeah, in there, if we're gonna go get pieces and develop, some pieces aside from quarterbacks, there are some quarterbacks that are sitting and on the bench that I think that we could upgrade.
But are we going back to the development thing? Maybe we see a switch here,
Well, but in the aspect that I'm talking about is using that money and get somebody on a 2-year deal while we get the other pieces in line for the quarterback down the road that we see. Again, I think there's some good options out there. I think Justin Fields is a good option out there. He got benched while he was winning. I mean, Pittsburgh's got a way better team, but he got benched while he was winning. You got Trey Lance is out there. You can get some guys that I think are an upgrade if we're not going to get the quarterback. Now, I still do feel like we should get a quarterback, but if they're going to go with other pieces that we need because they don't have their coaching in place, well, then those are some options that are out there. What I don't want them to go do is go get some Daniel Jones, go get some ridiculousness like that. At least get a young guy that you could do something with. You mean something ridiculous like Gardner Minshew? Yeah, like Gardner Minshew. Yeah, something ridiculous like
something like that.
Is just don't just as long as we don't do that. But I think I would not be surprised that we do not pick a quarterback in this draft. I wouldn't be surprised.
All right. And I want to respond to his comments he made about AP. He sounded like he wanted him to go. Correct me if I'm wrong, Big Daddy. That's kind of the impression I got. I'm against that for several reasons. We need consistency. I'm tired of the changeover. And besides that, and Big Daddy did speak on this, he was dealt a terrible hand. The greatest coach in the world couldn't coach this team to victory. There's no talent. There's no quarterback. I shouldn't say there's no talent. There's 2 guys. Besides that, the weapons just aren't there. It's not fair to say this is an AP fail. Does he need to improve? 100%. Has he made improvements? Here and there, but I don't know. I just think firing him's the wrong decision. I don't think it'll happen. I actually hope it doesn't happen. I think we need to give him a chance. We need to give this guy 2-3 years. We need to get him a quarterback. We need to get him some weapons and then see what he can do. I mean, I don't think that's a fair assessment to say fire him when they've given him nothing to coach.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. What did you want the guy to do with what he's done? And has he cleaned up some of the stuff? Some of the mental mistakes that he was making. Yeah, he's definitely cleaned up some of the stuff. I don't know if there's going to be any more to come, but I think AP's fate has already been decided. And
how so?
I think they already know whether they're going to retain him or not. And I think
you don't have an opinion one way or another. You just think they know.
No. What I'm saying is I don't think it's dependent on the rest of the season.
You think they know? Yes,
I think they know whether they're going to keep him or not. And I think they're going to go ahead and keep him. Again, that brings me to the point that they may not go with the quarterback this time. And if Shedeur is gone, I think they won't go with the quarterback, to be very honest with you. I think that's the pick. But if he is off the board, I think they will go with pieces. They'll keep AP, and I think that's the route they may take.
All right, Ricardo, what's good? All the way from either New York or Florida. I never know where you are, but thank you for watching. Raider Ryan, thanks for tuning in. I want to make sure to say what's up to some people in here, and then we'll circle back to comment or responding to some of these comments. April, what's up? Spicy and Scotty, what is good for you? What happened to men shit mania? Oh my gosh. That's all I got to say to that is they told me he was mobile. I haven't seen him move at all, but
I
it
barely
is
see
what
him
it
going.
is.
The only time I see him moving is from the starting position to the bench position every other game. That's the only damn time I see. You know
Right?
what? I want the over-under on how many times he's going to lose his job this year.
That's it. Seriously. Yes. Yeah, that's a great point. How many times are we on? It'd probably be more if AOC wasn't injured. Yes.
Wow.
Thank you, Aphrodisiac, for that. Hi, folks. Please be sure to hit that like button. That's right. Light that torch, hit that like button. And Aphrodisiac makes a great point here. AFC West has 3 young quarterbacks who are winning. And I've said this for several seasons in a year now. I thought the Raiders were always competing for third place, which means not being last. And these young guys are, they're doing well. So
Well,
we need someone to at least compete with quarterbacks who, goes without saying, right?
They got 3 coaching staffs also on those other 3 teams.
Yeah, well, we can get into the weeds of the coaching, of the organization and all of that, but listen, we only have like 20 minutes left and ain't nobody got time for that. Carlos Infuego, I believe in getting rid of AP because he knows nothing about offense. He's a linebacker coach. Raider Nation for life. You hear this argument a lot. Do you have any response to this, Scotty?
I'm not disagreeing with you, but there have been plenty of defensive coaches out there that have been successful also. It's just I don't know. Either he's the guy or he's not.
I think it's too hard to base it off of who he's coaching. Yeah. Again, the talent or the lack thereof, I would say, especially on offense, in the quarterback position, and we can go on with the mess that the Raiders are in. I don't think how are we going to judge based off this? It's kind of like what Big Daddy said in the call, right? And what Aphrodisiac is saying here, facts on the Lambo explanation. Big Daddy said, like we're all saying, there's no one to drive the car's not going to perform well.
Right.
I think that was probably more with the quarterback position, but this works for AP as well.
Sure.
Absolutely. How can we really judge his head coaching tenure?
Yeah.
Off of this.
No. I don't think you can. Again, he wanted a quarterback that we didn't get.
What's good, Hollywood?
What's up, Hollywood? He wanted a quarterback that he didn't get. I think that would have been, either do or die, make or break for him. But he didn't get that. And so here we are with, a damn garbage pail kid over there. It's just, how are you going to judge him off of that? I don't know. Again, I think his fate has already been decided. And at 2-8, what would you be keeping him for? Right now we're just evaluating talent. We're plugging in players every week. I'm looking at numbers. I'm like, who the hell is that? I got to look them up. We're basically doing 17 preseason games, getting ready for the next year. So how are you going to judge a coach off of that?
Exactly. April says, I think that Vegas dealt AP a hand and he don't know what to do with it. You know what you would do with the bad hand in Vegas? Yeah. You would fold. And that might translate into, I don't think they're tanking, but it could translate into that. That's what you would do. I don't think he could be judged off of this. And she goes on to say, I think there's too many people at the top telling him what to do, so he's showing all his cards. He don't have a poker face.
Well, I've said this before. I don't think AP is the one that's been calling the shots this whole season. I just don't. I don't. It doesn't make sense from what he did last season to what he did to what he's doing this. It didn't make sense to me. So I've always thought
that's extra reason not to fire him. Then I guess if he's not even making the decisions.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Who knows?
Hollywood agrees. Definitely a fold season. I agree. And I don't even think it's there because they're trying. I just think they aren't good enough. No, hey, it's just the truth. Don't be mad at me. April goes on to say, I think if we get this quarterback situation situated and he still can't do what he's supposed to do, well, then, yeah, maybe it's time to move on. Yeah, I think we got to give him a chance. We got to give him a quarterback. We got to get him some weapons. This team, there has to be a winnable team for him to coach. a team that can win. This team can't win under the greatest coach.
Yeah, they're not capable, right?
They're not capable. Exactly. Like we see it. They can't catch, the coach can't catch the ball. The coach can't, do all of these things. We look at drop passes, penalties. There's no run game. The run game's only going to help the quarterback. The running game, we saw glimpses of it a few weeks ago, and we thought maybe they would get something going. There's no run game. You can't have a successful quarterback without a successful running game. No. They kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of running game, Zamir White's got to go. I know a lot of people wanted to believe in him. The jury was out for me on him. He's got to go. He's not. He has no vision. He has no. He's got to go. We need a running back.
And isn't that so interesting? Because everybody wanted to give up on Josh Jacobs because they thought. Excuse me. Correct. I didn't either. A lot of people wanted to give up on Josh Jacobs because they thought Zamir White was going to come in and we didn't need him. Yeah. And that is proven to be incorrect. And it's unfortunate that because of the OC situation, because of the head coach situation, because of all of these organizational issues, that we're losing talent like Adams, like Jacobs. I mean, we need those pieces. Now we have to go regain those pieces. And we don't even have like the one piece that we actually need. Just like the hole is getting deeper.
I keep going back. All those people had one thing in common other than just being Raiders. They all had a captain patch on their shoulder. That does not math. It just doesn't. No, it doesn't math.
That makes a great point. Yeah, you don't trade your. I mean, that goes all the way back to Khalil Mack, really. But the one captain's patch that could be left along is left behind is Minshew. I'm not going to be mad at that one. But let's go over here to the comments a little bit more.
I was looking at the game and I was like, how in the hell does he have a captain patch? Captain of what? What the fuck are you the captain of?
I think it's just because the quarterback is ideally the captain of the team, the captain of the offense. They named him the starting quarterback before the season. They almost had no choice but to give it to him. What are you going to do? Go out there and say, dude, you're our QB1, but like who's going to be captain? Like JPJ?
Give him a patch that says private first
honorary captain. and no hate to JBJ. Don't get me wrong. That kid is doing his thing. I'm just saying, it's like it's gonna be some sort of look. It's optics, really, right?
Captain. What the fuck are you the captain of? Captain is
Carlos and Fuego says Minshew gives the best shot to just lose, baby. Raider Nation for life. So what's this doing for Maxx Crosby's patience? Ooh, that boy better have some patience. I hope he has some patience. I want to see this man a Raider for life. And we're part of our other conversation is who's tradable and who isn't. To me, Mad Max is not tradable. Mad Max has to stay. As long as he's willing to stay and he wants to stay, his name should never be in a trade conversation. And if you put his name in a trade conversation and he doesn't want to go, then y'all done fucked up.
From what vantage point are you saying he can't go?
I'm saying he's too valuable to the team. He's too valuable to the team. He's a real Raider. He's a guy that goes in there early, stays late. That's the kind of mentality you need on the team. I wish everyone had that mentality. He cannot go. Not only that, he's great for the fan base. He's great for. I can't say one bad thing about this man. He cannot be traded, especially if he wants to stay. Because if they're going to just start bargaining him and then as he's saying he wants to stay, then his patience should be gone. That's a disrespect. That's a slap in the face. He's already saying the season's effed up. But I don't know.
That's the standpoint that I'm most afraid of. Because what else of value do you have on the team at this point?
I don't care. He's way more valuable in that locker room than trading him for whatever someone will pay for him, especially if he's willing to stay and he wants to stay. When I look at this man, I don't see dollars in terms of what we could trade him for to what we can buy other than him. That's just another mistake that the Raiders are going to add to the bad decisions of all the other Raiders that we've lost that we shouldn't have.
Well, I agree that it would be a mistake also. I try to put myself in the position of we're coming from a fan-based thought process. And I try to say, well, what are they thinking? And I'm hoping they're not thinking.
They done fucked up every other decision. I don't care what the fuck they thinking. But don't get me hot when you talk about Maxx now.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, I'm wondering, is this what
they can trade him for some money and then misspend the money?
I mean, that's been the pattern.
Right. He's not worth a risk. You don't risk that kind of talent like that.
I agree.
To me, he's non-negotiable.
I agree. What did they do with paying Zamir White and paying Alexander Madison? They could have just kept Josh Jacobs.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and that was their business thought process that you're speaking of. Yeah. So I don't want to hear their logic of their business decision making unless they start making good business decisions. Until they do that, I don't want to hear Max's name in the conversation.
Oh. Hey, your mic didn't drop. Go ahead, drop it.
I'll draw my Sharpie.
I mean, I feel you on it. I get it. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I just know that they do some dumb shit over there.
Well, yeah. Well, that's different.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Squid. Exactly. Didn't work well when we traded Mac. Exactly. No. Same nonsense.
No, didn't. Sure.
Effed up people can't be expected to stop making effed up decisions. I need to put that on my wall because that makes a lot of sense outside of football too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's this has been their logic for many years now. That's the scary part.
Who else do you think is non-negotiable? Oh, no, you didn't say that Maxx was non-negotiable. I said it. No. Who do you think is non-negotiable?
Who do I think is non-negotiable? Let me think about defense at this time. I'm not going to say the young guys because they're on.
Right. You can't really say Bowers yet.
Yeah, no, you can't say that. That's difficult. I don't know who else may not be negotiable at this time. That's worth anything for us to get anything for them. I know who's negotiable. How about Gardner Minshew? Let's negotiate the fuck out of that. That's number one. I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who are.
No, they're all negotiable except for.
That's what I'm saying.
Besides, like you said, there have been the rookies, several of them.
Yeah, there's several.
Few of them have done well, but I don't think they're on their rookie contracts. They're not going anywhere as of right now. The Raiders will take a few years to mess that up and trade them, but we're talking about right now.
Yeah. Hollywood brings up a good point. Hollywood, what can we get for Minshew? I'll take a pack of now and laters, and I don't even know.
Seriously.
But a Snickers bar, I'll take a Snickers bar for him. Even the fun size one that they give out on Halloween, I'll take that one for him. Get him the fuck out of here.
Nothing. He's gonna be after this. He's gonna be unemployed like Renfro. Bye.
That's just.
Yeah, Scotty.
Oh, Scotty, you're over here making spicy drop F-bombs like 75 times. Maxx ain't going nowhere.
See, you got to get me all spicy. I'm trying to be good.
I have to let you live up to your name.
Once in a while, I got to live up to the name. That's right.
Hollywood makes a good point. Jack Jones. I am not a fan of Jack Jones. I've never been a fan of Jack Jones. I think he's negotiable. He can go for another bag of chips too. Whatever.
Yeah, you've been disliking him for a while. You know what? The thing about Jack Jones is he has glimpses of being really talented.
Yeah.
He just doesn't seem to have that.
He has glimpses. He has more glimpses of being a dumbass than he has.
Right. Yeah, and that's mental. You know, and that's another reason why Maxx is so important. You can't teach like mental toughness.
No,
and he has glimpses of being good, and then he just goes back to being Jack Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about this? Raider Paul says keep Minshew. I think he means Minshew as a backup and cut AOC. I would disagree with that personally.
Completely disagree. I would flip that actually.
Yeah.
But if anything, if that's the two that we're talking about, but I don't want Minshew. I don't want him even in the state of fucking Nevada. How about that? I don't want him in Nevada or California. Just go to fucking Wyoming in your bus and go smoke your weed on. Do whatever the fuck you do. Get the fuck out of here. Can't stand that guy.
All right, fair enough.
And take Jack Jones with you.
Take him with you. Hello from Boise. Did I say that correctly? Idaho. Go Raiders, hometown. Thanks for joining from Idaho. We appreciate you. All right. So did we cover all the points here? Let's see. We said Bauer shine. We welcome Mayor back. Talked a little extensively about AP. Drafting a quarterback. We did go over that as well. And we're kind of like, can go either way with that one. The one we didn't really touch on a lot was, did the OC change matter? There might be some difference of opinions. It looked like a carbon copy to me. I didn't see that OC change make a big difference. I mean, tell me what was different. Maybe I missed something.
There was some stuff different. The one of the major things that I saw, there was some spacing that we, in the previous scheme, we had no spacing. People were running into each other. It was absolutely fucking ridiculous. But I don't want to make a call really on that yet, simply because we're in the middle of a season. I get it. We had a bye week. We had an extra week to get the guys in. They're just getting there. I don't really. The jury's still out. I don't know if it's better or if it's the same. It was definitely different. There were some.
So what I missed, what I saw, they're still throwing behind the line of scrimmage on 3rd and long. Wow. It's never going to translate, or never say never, but the Raiders haven't been able to translate that into any positive yards or a first down. I'm not, I don't know. I didn't see a difference. What did they score? Was they at 19?
I don't know.
Was it 19-34? I think. I try to forget. But they're right around that same. They scored about the same amount of points. Same thing. We start off with field goals. I don't know. I didn't see a lot of difference. Like if we didn't know who was in the booth as OC, would we have really been able to say, "Oh, that's definitely Getsy" or "That's definitely Turner"? I don't think so.
The thing about it is, if we're going to judge the offensive coordinators, I should say,
right? He brought his daddy to work.
Yeah, we gotta judge them the same as we're judging AP, and Zamir White and Gardner Minshew aren't getting the fucking job done. So at the same, you got to give them that same leverage after 1 week.
But then why won't we give? Okay. We listen. I'm not a Getsy fan. I don't care. He's gone. All I'm saying is I don't see a difference. Then why? Then the other guys should have been afforded the same grace as the new guys.
Well, yeah, I don't think so. I think they ran a whole bunch of different schemes. I don't think some of these guys can get the job done. Minshew can't get the job done. What's his name? Zamir White can't get the job done. And those problems remain the same. But the schemes that were being run, those were definitely different. Again, were they better? No, we still lost. But did I see a difference in what type of schemes we were running? Yeah, I did. Here's another big thing that I did that I can say about this. Norv Turner is known for going to tight ends, and we stuck with Brock Bowers, and he had a.
That's true. All right, I'll give you that. That's a good point.
There's some difference. Again, I'm not arguing the fact that we still fell flat on our face. I'm not arguing that. But let me give him a couple more weeks and see if, okay, are we actually producing something? Are we progressing some type of way? And then I'll say, okay, well, you suck or not. For me, the jury's still out.
That's a good point. And yes, it's hard to coach an offensive team that doesn't have a lot of offense. And I'll give you the point with the tight end thing because you've said this over and over again. It's been working going to Bowers in previous games. Once it's worked, they've stopped after the first quarter for whatever reason. They didn't go back to him. They did stick with Bowers throughout the entire game. And that's why he had his first, 100-yard receiving of the season. So there's something to say to that.
He was killing it. He was doing really well with a lack of a quarterback. That could, can you imagine what could he have done? So on that aspect, again, I don't want to say yay or nay, but we'll see.
Who do we pick first round? Hollywood wants to know your thoughts, Scotty, and then I'll tell you mine.
You know what? I'm hoping we get Shedeur. Again, I think the connection to Tom Brady is good. I think he's been wanting to come here. All those things seem like a favorable situation for me, Hollywood. If we don't get Tom Brady, if we don't get Shedeur Sanders, I'll take any of those guys that are on that list right there, to be quite honest with you. I think we should be able to get a quarterback. But again, like I said at the top of the show, maybe you weren't in yet. I wouldn't be surprised if we go completely away from a quarterback and start getting some position players in here and see how that works, and then try to go get to the next year for a quarterback. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think you got to go quarterback as well. I think whoever's available. We don't know if the Raiders are gonna land at 3, 4, 5, probably somewhere in there, unless they trade up. Because as we know, the number 1 and 2 picks as it stands right now with Jacksonville and the Titans, we're thinking they probably don't need one. But I'm definitely going quarterback. So it's hard to say. I got to say whichever one is available where we land.
Yeah. And
honestly, if quarterbacks are available with any pick we have, draft 5 of them and see what sticks. You know what I mean? If we have a first round and 2 first rounds and a third round, and if quarterbacks are still there, you pick all of them.
Spicy guys. All of them. Guys watching, Spicy's like, shake them up, shake them up, shake them up.
Exactly. I want them all, and I want to see who can throw the ball. All of them. Because also we need a quarterback that is going to draw free agents. Like you said, there's $128 in cap space, something like that. Don't quote me on the exact number. We need running backs that want to play with a good quarterback. We need wide receivers that want to play with a good quarterback. We cannot put Minshew out there again or anybody else and think we're going to draft quality talent that's going to want to play with this guy. They do not.
They don't. Yeah, they don't. It's the same. It's the same thing that Lamar Jackson goes through in Baltimore years back, where they couldn't get a wide receiver to go to Baltimore because he's going to run it. This is the same situation. I mean, not the same situation, but the players are looking at, well, who's the quarterback? Who's going to give me the ball? You know, that's what they're looking at. So. I
mean, look at Devontae Adams. He got whatever your opinion on. He got out of so quickly that he went to play with somebody who's washed up and should have been retired. They didn't even work in their prime, and now homeboy's about to get benched out there. And he thought that was a better option.
Yeah.
How wild is that?
That says a lot. It
says a lot. That's how crazy that is. And we can't have that trend continue where we don't have people wanting to come to play for the Raiders. Everyone said new stadium, Las Vegas, income tax-free state. It was going to draw all this talent. Everyone was going to want to play for the Raiders. That has not been the case. Yep. Players want to win.
Yep.
Players want to just win, baby. And the Raiders don't win, and they aren't committed to excellence. And that's the bottom line. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you haven't already, light that torch, hit that like button. We're going to be back to our regularly scheduled shows next week with Monday Night Madness on Monday, 6 p.m. in the Spicy Shield Talk on Wednesday at 6 p.m. So tune in. And you know what, Raider Nation? We go out one way and only one way. Raiders! Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week.